if we go back to literature, we'll find a lot of good stuff. I think writing a screenplay for me is the joy of my life. The minute a girl hits puberty, it's like कि ऐसे मत बैठो, ऐसे मत करो, ये मत करो, यहाँ मत जाओ, वहाँ मत करो. If we know better, then we should be able to pass this idea backward and forward. Now, I'm not a regular Jhalli, I'm an advanced Jhalli. Hi, my name is Tiska Chopra and you're watching me on midday.com.
Hello, I am Raina Jain from midday.com, and today we are in conversation with actor, author, filmmaker Tiska Chopra. Thank you for speaking to us today.
Raina, thank you so much for having me. Such a pleasure.
Okay, so the first thing that I really want to ask you is you have donned a lot of multiple hats in your career as a theatre artist, actor, author, producer, director. Which one of these do you hold closest to your heart and why?
I think what I hold close to my heart is not the roles. I hold close to my heart the reason for these roles, which is to tell a story. I've always been interested in telling unusual stories that stay in your heart, which people want to go back to again and again. That's my interest. I want to engage with the audience who I think are far more intelligent than me in a way that we have that conversation via the film that we make. So that is always interesting to me. So whether it's an actor or a director or a producer or a writer or whatever, that's my interest.
I think that's very interesting. And since you just spoke about storytelling, you have previously opened up about how writing and reading were integral parts of your life growing up. So I want to know how that has shaped you as a person, and has that sort of habit even passed to your daughter?
Very interesting that you would ask that, Raina. My daughter has actually we just published her first book, and she's not yet 12. It's very, very amazing that as a child, your influences are. There's this book called The Outliers, where Malcolm Gladwell talks about the fact that what influences you. So when Bill Gates was growing up, there was computers very close to him. That center was very close to him. So what influences you as a child is what actually then comes out of you. You're a field of potential. You're a field of anything and everything. So what influences you, what you grow up around, actually shapes the person that you are. So my dad has a couple of books published. My mom also has a coloring book that she published. Many people in my family have written books, and it was always something around the house. So yeah, it was bound to happen.
I think it has been around you, and it is around everyone around you.
Yes. And then my husband.
Yeah.
He's a published author as well. He has 3 books out, and now he's just written his first series called Ranniti, which people are loving. So yeah.
Okay, that's great. Speaking about books, so a lot of books nowadays are being adapted into movies, and that's how a lot of people are being introduced to these stories. As someone who has been a part of both these mediums, how do you think the change in format affects the essence of the story?
That's an excellent question, Raina. Most of the time, the films don't live up to the book. But in some cases, they not just live up, but probably exceed the expectations of the book. Such books as Gone with the Wind and Gone Girl. There's a few films that elevate the book, but most of the time, I find because the book, there's a trick there, because when you're reading the book, it's your imagination that's at play. And there can be nothing more powerful than your own imagination. No filmmaker can fill in the colors as well as your brain can. So I think the important thing is that we should continue, because there's a wealth of literature. And I think writing is very, very poor in films currently. I mean, it's just more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. And when something spectacular and new comes out, everyone's like, oh, we really like this. But then we go back to trying to make formula films. So that, if we go back to literature, we'll find a lot of good stuff.
Okay, you just spoke about writing in films. That is what my next question is. Basically, you have written for books, you have written screenplays. How do you think? And you've also directed a feature film that will be out soon. So, how does the writing process differ for books and movies?
Completely different. It is another animal. Writing a book is sort of, you have to keep the one theme and go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into that idea and explore it from other angles. Most of the books that I've written are the two books. Most of the books makes it sound like I've written a lot. I haven't. There's just two books: Acting Smart and What's Up with Me. These are two both non-fiction books. For me, the most important thing when writing a film, and I enjoy that vastly. I enjoy that more than writing the two books that I've written. Maybe a fiction book will be as much fun. I think writing a screenplay for me is the joy of my life. I want to jump out of bed. I cannot stop thinking about it morning, evening, or night. It is something that I love to do. So for me, that is A, number one, joyful. B, after a point, once you've got your basic enneagrams done, you've got your character maps done, you've got all of that stuff, you know your plot, you know act 1, 2A, 2B, and then 3. Once you know that structure, that this is how the screenplay is going to go, then it starts telling you. You just become, okay, I'm available today, I'm here to write, and you will write it.
Okay, that's pretty insightful. You spoke about a book that you wrote, What's Up with Me, which basically speaks about puberty and different things that come along with it, and it's focused on young girls. I want to know, and it also mentions periods. So I want to know, you wrote it in 2021. From then till now, do you think there has been a change in the discourse around this subject in public settings? Do you think it has gained more prominence because it has been a taboo topic for too long?
So the reason I wrote that book was I was buying sanitary napkins at a chemist shop, and as I was walking into the chemist shop, there was a pan ki dukan, and that guy was one general customer was buying gutka and some cigarettes. And as I walked into the chemist store, this just sort of registered on the peripheral vision, not in a very big way. And as I walked into the chemist shop and I asked for sanitary napkins, so he said, "Aap idhar aa jaiye. Idhar aa jaiye." And then he wrapped the sanitary napkin ka packet in a newspaper. And then he put that in a black polythene. So I was like, out there, a guy's buying gutka and cigarettes, which are going to kill him for sure. Here's something that's a very natural occurrence in almost 50% of the population. Then this is wrong. This is just wrong. And I think that by the time till children are an amorphous mass, they're like a bacche. The minute a girl hits puberty, it's like कि ऐसे मत बैठो, ऐसे मत करो, ये मत करो, यहाँ मत जाओ, वहाँ मत करो. And as I was writing the book, I discovered a whole lot of completely unscientific, completely unreasonable, odd behaviors that we get into just because a girl has her period. Achars do not spoil. You can step into the kitchen because even when you get your period, you're still hungry and you want to eat, and you can still cook, and there isn't any issue, and we don't have any of that in our house. And I do not believe that. And so therefore I wanted to demystify this whole thing. Plus, as the mother of a young girl, I wanted to make sure that at least in my house, she can tell her father that, Dada, on your way back, buy me my sanitary napkins or tampons or whatever it is. Because what are you talking about? Is it there's no guilt, there's no shame, it's biology. It's simple biology. If you don't get your period, that is in fact a bigger problem. Because if you don't get your period, you probably have PCOD or PCOS, which is a whole other lot of problems. So why are we creating this hawa around this? And that's where I think the gender sensitization needs to start happening from that age. Because that is where the difference starts to happen. उसके पहले सब बच्चे होते हैं. उसके बाद होता है नहीं, that all needs to stop. And I feel that the conversation, I've tried to talk about this as often as I can, but I think it's not often enough.
I think public settings is like a far off thing. Even in private spaces, even in our homes, the conversations don't really happen a lot around this.
Yeah, so I've started doing that. So my dad, who is slightly old school, I make it a point to say that, I have my period, and so I'm not doing this. Because he asked me, why are you not going to the gym today? So I said, no, I have my period. I'm not feeling that great for today, so I'm not going today for this reason. And initially he used to feel a little like, why is she telling me this? But now he's also chill. He's like, oh, okay, and now he knows his grandchild has her period and all of that. And I think that we should take that responsibility and break that nonsense down. Because he's also a product of his own times. It's not that he's wrong. But if we know better, then we should be able to pass this idea backward and forward. And I'm trying my best.
Over the course of your professional journey, what's the best advice that you have received, be it in acting, writing, or life in general? But one thing that you take along with you in this journey.
I think what I've really, really appreciated was a dear, dear, dear friend of mine, very senior sort of guide. He said that follow your craft and the money will follow. So I've tried to follow that to the best of my ability. Still waiting for the money to follow.
Okay, and on that note, any advice for the youngsters in today's world who are trying to, make a place for themselves
in acting.
in anything, in whatever they want to do, in like any general advice?
Wow, yeah.
Because it's like a very in today's world, it's very cutthroat. Everybody is just trying to get somewhere. So just any advice that you would want to give. And you also have a daughter, so something that you teach her, and you would want others also to sort of know.
Well, firstly, I don't think I'm qualified to advise anyone, but what I'd like to share is what I've learned, a couple of things. I think first, be really, really, really good at your job. That's the first thing. Experiment with a whole lot of things and come into your work knowing that this is what you want to do. You might be in an allied field and might be trying to make your way into that. For example, somebody wants to be an actor, be an assistant. Assist the camera, assist the director, assist writers. No, be around the field to get to where you need to get to. Because a lot of the people are very disinterested in their job. And the minute a person is interested in their job, there's a special flavor that comes into their work. Because they love it so much that they look at it from all angles and they'll want to be around it, and they'll not be looking at the clock and saying, I need to check out now because I'm done now, because this is the job, it pays my money, that's okay. But particularly in creative fields, I think it's very important that you need to love the real work of it. So that is one thing that I would honestly feel.
So one last question that I have is, who is Tiska Chopra off the screen or beyond the public eye?
I'm not entirely sure how to answer that, but perhaps what is very dichotomous from what people see me is my jhalli self. Now, I'm not a regular jhalli, I'm an advanced jhalli. My pajamas have holes, my t-shirts have holes, and that's the way I write. So every morning, if I'm not shooting, then morning 10 to like 2, I write. I get there, even if I have nothing to write or nothing to say, I'll still get there to write, and then something happens most days. That's one part. And the other part is, I think, my mothering part, which is I sort of love to tuck my daughter in at night, because most of the day we are busy. She's got her classes, she's got her tennis, she's got music, she's got other things going on. So then that night time of that half an hour, 40 minutes of asking her how her day went and what goes on in her life and in her super brain is the two parts that are not open.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that with us. I have like a few quick questions. First is a fitness mantra you swear by.
Mornings are precious. I make sure to stretch and do my yoga every single morning.
Okay. Your favorite dish?
Fish curry and rice.
Your favorite author?
Too many to name, but H.H. Monroe, Roald Dahl, Margaret Mitchell, Malcolm Gladwell, so many.
Your favorite female author?
Jhumpa Lahiri would be one.
Your closest friend in the film industry?
Lots of people. There isn't one closest friend. Lots of people.
Okay. Your go-to outfit for a day out with friends?
Jeans and a shirt.
Okay. Your all-time favorite Bollywood movie?
Would it be considered nepotistic to say Tare Zameen Par?
No. I think it's the favorite film for a lot of people.
Yeah. But also classics like Garam Hawa, Do Biga Zameen, Raat Aur Din, Aid. Those are all fabulous films.
Thank you so much for speaking with us and for engaging in this insightful conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.